Good morning, guys, and it is Thursday, and we are going to listen to another fairy tale story. And this time it is Little Red Riding Hood. And let's see how this story of Little Red Riding Hood goes, because sometimes there's many different versions of the story. Once there was a little girl who loved to wear red. She had red shirts and red skirts, red shoes, and a fabulous bright red cloak. A cloak is like a robe. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood, and they probably called her that because she must love the color red. Early one morning, Little Red's mother packed up a basket. I have a very special job for you, she told Little Red. Granny is feeling poorly. Will you take her this fresh fruit? So Grandma is not feeling well, and her mother is asking her to take some fresh fruit to her grandmother. Of course, cried Little Red, and she put on her favorite cloak and kissed her mother goodbye. So there she is with her cloak. Looks like a robe. It was a bright, sunny day, and Little Red skipped through the woods. Ooh, the woods. So this story, the setting is in the woods. Good morning, she called to the rabbits and deer. I'm bringing Granny a special surprise. But someone was peeping from behind a tree. And who could it be? There's another wolf, like in the Three Little Pigs. A big, hungry wolf. Good day, growled the wolf. What are you doing in the woods all alone? I'm taking the special basket of fruit to Granny, Little Red replied. Yuck, thought the wolf. He didn't like fruit. He liked to eat tasty little girls. So the wolf thought up a plan, a horrible, clever plan. Why not pick Granny some lovely flowers, he said. Good idea, said Little Red. But as she started gathering daisies, the wolf raced down the path towards Granny's house. So the wolf is up to something, and I don't think it's going to be good. The wolf knocked on Granny's door with a thud, thud, thud. Is that you, Little Red, my dear? Called Granny. Yes, squeaked the wolf. Let me in. It's breakfast time. Oh, goody, said Granny, opening the door. What are we having for breakfast? You, cried the wolf. So he's already tricked Granny. Arr, yelled Granny. You're not Little Red. And she slammed the door right on his big, furry nose. Ow, howled the wolf. Quick as a flash, Granny ran out of the back door and into the woods to find help. That horrid old Granny, the wolf growled, rubbing his nose. But now he could put his terrible plan into action. So when Little Red knocked tap, tap, tap on Granny's door, it was a deep, scratchy voice that answered, Come in, my dear. So what did the wolf do? The wolf dressed up as Granny, it looks like. Little Red walked into Granny's bedroom and stopped in surprise. Why, Granny, she said slowly, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my dear, croaked the wolf. And there's his big ears. And look, she already looks confused, doesn't she? And Granny, Little Red said carefully, what big hairy arms you have. The better to hug you with, my dear, growled the wolf. But Granny, Little Red whispered, what big teeth you have. So do you think Little Red is putting it together that that's not Granny? "The better to eat you with, my dear," snarled the wolf, and he pounced at Little Red. Look at him jumping over, pouncing. Means he's jumping over to get Little Red. Just at that moment, the door burst open. In rushed Granny with the woodcutter. "Stop right there," yelled Granny. "Put her down now," bellowed the woodcutter, "or I'll chop you up and turn you into a birdhouse." With a terrified howl, the wolf jumped out of the window and ran far, far away, never to return. Little Red hugged Granny tight. "I'm so glad you chased that wolf away," she cried, and she gave Granny the basket of fruit. "What a day of excitement," laughed Granny. "Now let's all have breakfast." The end. Now, Miss Molly has heard different versions of the Little Red Riding Hood, and this one is definitely different than the ones I remember growing up. When I was little, I heard of one where instead of Granny running off, the wolf actually had put Granny in the closet, and that's where Granny was. And then the woodcutter came and saved because he heard them yelling. All right, so what I want you to think about right now is, who were the characters in the story of Little Red Riding Hood? Well, I see two of them here. I see Little Red, and I see the big bad wolf. Who else was in this story? Little Red's mother, right? She's the one who asked her to go give the basket of fruit to Granny. And then comes along the big, clever, well, he thinks he's clever wolf. And there's Granny. She's another character. And then we have, where is he? The woodcutter. So those are the four characters in the story. And what about the setting? I mentioned it when I was reading the story. Where does it take place? Where does the story take place? That's right, it takes place in the woods, right? She's off to see Grandma, and there's the woods, and Grandma lives in the woods. All right, so today your activity is to make a basket. Now you can use paper, you can use pipe cleaners, whatever you have, or even Legos. You could make a basket with Legos. Whatever you have around the house to make a basket, okay? There's no right or wrong way to make it. I want you guys to think and to make it the way you want to. All right, and I'll see you guys soon.